Formative assessment is a corrective method of teaching and grading that gauges where the students are at, and it allows the teacher to modify lessons to provide emphasis on areas needing remediation for the students. This differs from summative assessment in that it does not simply record the level of mastery of material, but rather it can be used to pinpoint areas of weakness and provide correction to the student. This benefits the student in that it allows them to realize areas of factual and conceptual knowledge that need to be strengthened, as well as ways to amend their study habits. Formative assessment can also benefit the teacher, as it can enable them to modify their lessons to meet the students where they are at, and address commonly held misconceptions the students may have coming into a lesson. An example from my teaching was during a lesson on landforms. The data I gained from an earpod quiz was used to address student weaknesses in the later lessons, and the instant feedback allowed them to see what they got wrong and what the correct answers were. My mentor teacher was on the class list, but didn't participate in the quiz, so he showed up as a 0, as did a student who left early, but he was still on the list too. Multiple choice can be used for more than rote memorization and a thoughtless response. It can be used to encourage higher order logical thought and reasoning skills. I would take the definition of a broad category of landforms and place it alongside the correct definition, which is a more specific landform in that broader category. All C's are A, but not all A's are C. All canyons are valleys, but not all valleys are canyons. There are 4 kinds of learning targets. You have knowledge, which is factual information. You have reasoning. This is the relation between facts and ideas. You have skills. That's demonstrating an ability. And you have products. This is art, tech ed projects, essays, and science experiments. Grading too soon after having introduced new information is unfair, as it assumes the students should have prior knowledge. Even if they learned the material thoroughly, that initial grade would still mar their final grade. Penalty-free feedback builds students up by allowing them a path upwards as opposed to tearing them down. The purpose of education is to help students learn and bestow knowledge upon them, not weed out the weak. Mistakes should be treated as opportunities to assess a student's areas of weakness. Mistakes can give both students and teachers direction going forward. Students can see what they did wrong and be given suggestions on how they can improve. Students should always be given the justifications and reasons behind why they are being taught content of a unit or lesson. The big idea and essential question should be made clear from the outset. For assignments, students should be given examples of what to do and what not to do. It seems that most points lost on assignments are the result of not following directions properly, as opposed to not knowing the material. Give the students correction and guidance. Help them to see their own strengths and weaknesses, and use questions to guide them in the right direction. Help the students to evaluate their own learning strategies, motivations, and areas of needed improvement. Foster metacognition so they can truly own their educational experience. Use the data from formative assessments to differentiate and address common weaknesses. This is where the feedback loop can come in. This can be applied to individual students and to the class as a whole. Adapt lessons to meet their needs, and focus in on the information and concepts that need practice. Once this is done, give them a formative assessment and repeat this process. They can teach and study what needs the most attention and save time by focusing effort. The opportunity to gauge their progress empowers them, giving them a sense of direction. Not only do they focus on content that needs improvement, but also on the process of learning itself, and they can improve on that as well. By reassessing multiple times throughout a unit with both graded and ungraded assignments, both teachers and students can make adjustments to teaching and learning. This cycle repeats, each iteration seeing improvement.